The aging boomer population has managed to accrue vast amounts of wealth for themselves thanks to various economic and political factors that have benefited them. We know that. But what has their impact been in the small business sector, and how might that impact negatively impact younger generations? I'm Yasmin Khan with the breakdown, and it's very easy to dog on the boomers, but I don't think nearly as many people would hold their fortuitous youths against them if they weren't actively, and it feels like sometimes deliberately, making it harder for the rest of us to live our lives while telling us to stop complaining. I don't know, maybe it's just a symptom of getting older, where you lose the ability or maybe the interest in assessing a situation for what it currently is as opposed to what it once was. Or maybe their disregard for the future is simply because they can't conceptualize it the way the rest of us do, and really the way the rest of us need to. And of course, I'm generalizing here. I know that's not fair to all boomers, and to be fair, maybe we, the younger generations, are naive about a lot of things. But the boomers will likely be around for another 20 years or so, and that means that the burden will fall on the rest of us to care for an aging population. Now, surely that shouldn't be a problem, considering this wealth-acquiring generation has surely set themselves and their successors up for success, right? Well, according to an opinion piece in The Guardian, no, they haven't. Data from Wilmington Trust shows that 58% of business-owning boomers in the United States don't have transition plans in place for their businesses, and as much as 45% of them haven't saved for retirement. The debt burdens of an aging population will fall onto their children and their grandchildren. On top of that, as many as 1/3 of Americans earn their livings working for these boomer businesses, and a chunk more earns their living working as partners with these businesses. On top of all of that, many boomer businesses are operating in obsolescence, either having failed or refused to modernize. This means that work tends to move more slowly, and business practices might be incompatible with the practices of more modern partners and clients. Additionally, younger workers are trained and experienced in the latest technologies, so asking them to use older and less efficient modus operandi can be infuriating. Case in point, the Guardian article cites a stat that somewhere between 86 and 92% of companies are literally still writing paper checks to make payments. Now, the business world, it can be argued, functions both exactly as it always has and unlike it ever has. The general functions tend to remain the same: accounting, finance, marketing, sales, ops, etc. But the methods and ideologies behind these functions demand updating. And while boomer business owners might not be keen on changing anything this late in the game, it would make a world of difference for the younger generations set to inherit these businesses. Additionally, considering the fact that boomers aren't retiring at 65 as many of us expected them to, slower and older methods could stifle progress for several decades to come. To that retirement point, that's an easy one to get younger people worked up about, specifically the notion that highly coveted upper-level positions are being hoarded by the elderly, who should have been out of the workforce by now. Younger people have even fewer opportunities to advance in their careers when those higher positions never open up. But in the boomers' defense, many of them can't afford to retire or live without access to healthcare, at least better healthcare than what the government might provide them. And considering the fact that the current docket of congressional Republicans, many of whom, by the way, are well beyond retirement age themselves, are looking to gut Social Security and Medicare, you can't blame older Americans for being a little wary of their futures. Conversely, some of them have great health and feel vital enough to continue working and living independently, so they just don't want to quit. Ultimately, progress happens when progress is pushed. It's often uncomfortable and disruptive. And while I personally don't think that there's as much wisdom in the whole move fast and break stuff adage as others might, there is something to be said for growing pains. I believe in enduring a bit of discomfort for the promise of a better future, even if that future isn't necessarily my own, but easier said than done. All right, that's it for me. If you got something out of this, please like and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you.